Every single time people think Cristiano Ronaldo is finished, he somehow finds a way to prove everyone wrong. It is like he thrives on doubt, almost as if the criticism fuels him. And this time, it was not just about scoring goals or adding another medal to his collection. It was about shutting down an entire narrative carefully built by the media. At 40 years old, he managed to leave even his harshest critics scrambling for excuses. Tell me honestly, how many athletes can still do that at this age? For weeks, ESPN kept repeating the same storyline. They said the Nations League would decide who truly deserved the Ballon d'Or this year. They put all the spotlight on young talents like Yamal and Dembele. The whole debate was framed as the rise of a new generation. Ronaldo? He was treated like an afterthought, almost invisible in their coverage. Many pundits dismissed him, saying he was too old to make a difference. They even called him a passenger in Portugal's squad. What do you think? Was that fair? Personally, I thought it was disrespectful. But here is the thing. When the pressure reached its peak, Ronaldo stepped up in a way no one saw coming. And in that moment, he flipped their story upside down. Let me take you through what really happened. Portugal's Nations League journey was dramatic from the very start. Against Germany in the semifinal, Ronaldo scored the decisive goal. That goal ended a 25-year drought against that particular rival. You would think the media would finally give him some credit, right? But no, they brushed it off as a fluke, as if it was pure luck. And then came the final against Spain. Twice Portugal fell behind. Twice Ronaldo dragged them back. In the 61st minute, he used his experience and composure to level the score with a clinical finish that only a player of his caliber could deliver. By the end, Portugal lifted the trophy. Suddenly, all that talk of a generational shift looked way too premature. This one victory reminded everyone that the man many called past his prime was still shaping history. But here is where it gets really frustrating. Even after those performances, ESPN continued to question Ronaldo's relevance. Instead of highlighting how he delivered under immense pressure, they focused on the minor injury he picked up after the final. It felt like they were desperate to protect their narrative that the future belonged only to the new stars. Do you see the hypocrisy? They ignored the greatest goal scorer football has ever seen just because it did not suit the story they wanted to tell. Honestly, as someone who has followed football for decades, I find it unbelievable how quickly the media tries to rewrite history when it does not align with their agenda. What about you? Have you noticed this kind of bias in sports coverage? Now think about this for a second. This was not the first time Ronaldo had silenced doubters. Years ago, during the 2016-2017 season, he dominated both the Champions League and La Liga. Back then, critics called him selfish. And yet, that season alone, he set records in assists, knockout stage goals, and even hat tricks. His ability to show up in the biggest moments became his trademark. That same mentality is why, even at 40 years old, he can still decide finals. I have analyzed countless elite players in my lifetime, but very few carry this kind of longevity and mental resilience. Greatness like this does not fade with age. That Nations League final was living proof of that, and honestly, it gives me chills just thinking about it. After Portugal's triumph, the Ballon d'Or race suddenly looked very different. Yamal had been brilliant all season, no doubt about it. But Ronaldo's decisive impact on the biggest stage made everyone stop and think twice. One single trophy, won in such a dramatic way, can completely shift the narrative. It showed that legacy is not just about numbers on a stat sheet. It is about moments that define entire eras. In many ways, Ronaldo schooled the kid, reminding the football world that experience and true greatness hold more weight than temporary hype. That night, it became clear that the debate was far from over. What do you think? Should one defining moment like this carry more weight than an entire season of good performances? And here is the bigger lesson that the football world keeps forgetting. Winning major trophies has always been Ronaldo's ultimate answer to criticism. No matter how many times the media tried to push him aside, moments like this forced them to acknowledge reality. The disrespect from certain outlets will never erase what he has already accomplished. This final was another reminder of what true greatness looks like when the stakes are highest. Watching him silence critics yet again just confirms why I have always said Ronaldo's story is not just about scoring goals. It is about defying time itself and proving, over and over, that age is truly just a number. Now let us take a step back and reflect. This was more than just another trophy on his shelf. It exposed the media bias that tried so hard to write him off too soon. After seeing this, should fans finally value consistency and clutch performances over fleeting hype? For me, it felt like watching a living legend write yet another unforgettable chapter in real time. And I have to admit, it made me emotional in a way I did not expect. But what about you? Did this moment really end the Ballon d'Or debate, or do you think the media will just find another excuse to shift the focus? I genuinely want to know your thoughts, so drop them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this discussion, make sure to subscribe to my channel, Enigma Path, for more honest football conversations.